Dear student teachers and all the teachers, those who are handling language. Today we are going to learn very important tool of teaching any language, that is narrative. Narrative is a wonderful technique, wonderful tool in order to teach good language skills in our students. What's a narrative? A narrative is a story that you write or tell to someone, usually in great detail. That means it's a simple story. Generally, we say story. For example, if you say story in a detailed way, in a clear way, that we call it as a narrative. Linguists say this narrative is a wonderful tool of teaching language to our students. In today's class, we let us understand, we take a story and understand how to change this story into a narrative. The name of the story is The Ant and the Dove. You are all aware this story. From very childhood, we know this. This story is like this. A dove and an ant lived in a tree near a pond. One day, the ant fell into the pond. The dove saw it. The ant cried for help. The dove dropped a leaf near the ant. The ant stepped on the leaf. It reached the bank. The ant thanked the dove. This is the story, dear students. And how can we change this into a narrative? Let's understand. This will be very helpful to you to teach language very effectively to the children at a very early stage, class 1, or it may be 3-year, 4-year child. How do we teach language? It may be English or it may be mother tongue. That we can understand now. Let's understand how can we convert the story, the dove and the ant. In order to understand how to change this into a narrative, we should have complete idea about some aspects. That is, how many characters are there in the story? What are they? You know, in this story, there are two characters. One is a dove and the other one is an ant. These are the two important characters we come across in the story. This idea we should have very clearly in our mind. Hence, why we focus on the characters that are there in the story in order to make it into a narrative. And then the next one, what will be the conversations between them? What are they saying each other? What do they feel? What are their feelings? And these feelings also we should be in the position to convey to our children. For example, we say both of them are friends. When they are friends, what would be the various activities, day-to-day activities in their life? These should be elaborately explained, and we make number of sentences, and we should present those sentences to our children. That means the children should feel that the story is happening before them. And they should develop a sort of empathy. That means they should attain the role of the dove and the role of the ant, how they feel. And in such a way, you should present that. Then also, we should understand the setting. Where is this story happening? Is it in a forest? Is it in a village? Is it in a town? That we call it as setting. What are the surroundings? These surroundings we should present to our children. The surroundings should appear before them. In such a way, you should change and the story into a narrative and present to our children. Children should feel that the things are happening in front of them. They should immerse in the entire story. They should attain the roles that are there in the story. For example, if there are any sorrowful things that are occurring in the story, they should also attain some emotional vibrancy, and they should shed tears while they are listening to story or while they are listening to that narrative. In such a way, the teacher should do present a story in the form of narratives. Then, how many ideas are there in the some sentences? How can we split the sentences into small sentences? Let's understand how do we present this narration. Let us see a dove and an ant lived in a tree near a pond. Here is one sentence is there. How can we change it into a narrative? Hence, dear students, there is a forest. It's a very thick forest. There are many animals. There are animals such as um, uh, deer, zebras, buffaloes, deers. All these are living in this forest. Some cruel animals also, wild animals also living in that. There is a tree. In the tree there are two friends, very close friends. They are an ant and a dove. The ant and dove are wonderful friends, great friends, very close friends. They live together, they play together, they enjoy their life together, they say stories to each other, and in this way they are living in a great way in the that forest day students. And this is a situation there. The tree is bended over a pond. There is a pond. A pond is a very big pond. A pond is full of water. The water is very fresh. The atmosphere is very pleasant. In that very happy, pleasant atmosphere, the dove and the ant are living, and they are wonderful friends, and they are very close friends. They love each other. They take care of each other. Uh, in this way, dear student teachers, we should change that story into narrative. In a story, there will be only one sentence: a dove and an ant lived in a tree near a pond. But you observe how many sentences we added, how we presented, changed this the story into a narrative. And one day, the ant fell into the pond. For example, while you are teaching this type of the information to our students should attain empathy. That means they should feel like that ant, that we call it empathy. Thus, one day the ant fell into the pond. Dear students, what will be the feelings in the mind of the ant? What does it say? At the time you stop that place and ask that question. Then students start thinking. They say different sentences. They may say in mother tongue. Then they start thinking about that. That thinking leads to language generation. They say, they may say in Telugu, you may megaphone into English. The ant is in very sorrowful condition. It attains a great fear. It needs some help. It may cry loudly. It cries loudly. It says, please help me, I am groaning. In this way, these all the that sentences will be given by the students. Hence, in this way, while we are teaching or changing a story into narrative, students should feel, or they should attain a sort of empathy, and they should involve in the story. They should attain the roles of the story. In that way, the teacher should teach the story and should teach change the story into narrative and present in a systematic way. The students listen to that, and they attain wonderful language will be generated in the minds of the students. This is the process of changing a story into a narrative. And let's understand various advantages of using narratives in our classroom teaching. Through narrative, we can implement, or we can insert, we can convey, or we can present various sentences, various language forms that we use in our day-to-day life in the classroom to our students. The language that we use in our day-to-day life will be conveyed in the form of narrative to our children. Children grasp these various types of sentences, questioning, descriptions, conversations, greetings, and all these different types of language varieties. Language varieties can be taught to our children very effectively. Train them to use them, and they grasp that, and they make use of such type of sentences in our day-to-day life. Hence, we can accommodate different is very powerful, useful, interesting tool, interesting procedure that we can teach very effectively and easily to our students. But we should know how to use it in a proper way, how to convey this in a proper way, how to present narrative in a proper way, what are various aspects of the narrative should be well known to us in order to present narrative to our students. Then come to what is the other advantage? It triggers the thinking process of the learner, because it's very interesting, it's very near to the life of the students, it generates a thinking process in the minds of the students. Hence this thinking is essential for language generation. Linguist says that thinking is very important for language generation, because of various situations we present through stories, our actions, our body language, our gestures, various other activities that we take up while we are teaching, that transacting the narrative to our students will help us to present or trigger thinking process in the minds of the children. Thinking process is essential for language. Hence, while we are teaching a narrative, we should bear certain things in our mind. The narrative should be within the experiential orbit of the child. That means whatever may we convey to our students through narrative should be understandable, should be within the reach of the students. We should not teach, or we should not try to bring things which are unknown to them, which are not there in their experiential orbits. And that's why we use various animal stories. Students are well aware of animals, they know them, they feel very happy. Dear student teachers, language is a very powerful tool that we should give to our students for their growth and development. Hence, let's make best use of narrative in our classrooms to teach wonderful language abilities from the very beginning and early age of our students. Wish you very good luck, my dear students. All the best for watching this video. Thank you.